Our refrigerator, for whatever reason, doesn't close all the way at times. So I got this Fridggi device from Amazon. There may be more than one of these devices out on Amazon. So be sure your device matches the picture on the site to be sure that this video corresponds to the product you're looking at. The box contains a couple of pouches. There's a detector and a magnet inside this pouch. There's 2 sets of double stick tape here in case you mess up the first time, you have another chance, and an instruction manual inside. So this is what it looks like when it's out of the pouches. The front of the device and the front of the magnet have arrows on them on either side, which indicates that they could be placed on either side of each other, which could come in handy in your placement. The cover has a small screw that you take this out to get access to the batteries. There's 3 LR44 batteries, or also you can use AG13 batteries. They're little button cell batteries, 1.5 volts each. On the left side, there's a mode button, set mode button. The manual calls this a volume button. It really does more than set the volume. It also sets the function of the device. So we'll talk about that at the end. This is the back of the device. There's a little pull tab right here that activates the batteries. There's a speaker on the back as well. This is the sound hole or opening. The tape also goes on the back. This might be a little confusing at first. You think, well, I'm covering the sound hole, but it doesn't cover the sound hole completely. This area at the top is not covered by the tape, so you get pretty good sound out of it even after you've put the tape in and attached it to the refrigerator. The right side has an on and off switch. I think there might be a version of this out there that does not have an on and off switch. I saw a video which indicated such. But this one does have an on-off switch, which is handy if you need to clean out the refrigerator and you're going to have the door open for a long period of time. You can turn it off so that you're not getting blasted with alarms. And this is the magnet in by itself. Okay, so installing the device. There is a video at this website indicated here in the text, and it was helpful. So to get started, you pull that battery protector tab off the back of the unit and turn it on with the on switch. Also interesting, if you just place this thing on a table somewhere that's not metallic and try to check the distances, you'll get way bigger distances than what you think you should get. The documentation says you should get a little over 1/2 inch. And I was seeing maybe almost 2 inches on a non-metallic surface. But if you put this on your refrigerator, the metal interferes with the magnetic field, and you don't get nearly that distance. So you get about what the manual says, 0.6 or 5.5, 5/8 of an inch. You want to, when you do your measurements, detection measurements, you want to do it in the location where you plan to stick the device, because it will matter how the range is affected by where it's placed. Okay, so pick the location, peel one side of the tape and stick it on the magnet. Get the pad, the bigger pad, and peel one side of the tape and stick it on the detector. Do not peel the side that sticks to the refrigerator. Leave that in place so that you can move it around and play with it and try to find the right location. So I place mine on the top of my refrigerator doors, keeps them kind of out of sight. not likely to get bumped and hit up there. I have French doors on the top and a bottom freezer, so it's the top doors that I've had trouble with them being left open. So having one magnet on one door and the detector on the other door, so that if either door is opened, it gets detected if it gets left open. Um, so you need to experiment a little bit with these detectors. So with the pad on it, because the pad does affect the distance of the detection range. So with the pads on them, but not stuck to the refrigerator, you're going to put those two pieces together and then pull them apart. As you pull them apart, it will beep as soon as it gets outside of range. Then you bring them back together a little bit, pull them apart again, and you get a feel for where the range is, where it starts to beep. You don't hear a beep when you put them together. You only hear the beep when you get outside the range. So you're looking for that spot just before it beeps. That would be the maximum detection range for the location that you are trying to put the device in on your refrigerator. Okay, once you're sure you have the right location, go ahead and peel the other side of the double stick tape and stick them on the fridge in those locations. Okay, the set button was a little confusing in the instructions, so I put the instructions here so that you can hopefully get a better idea of what the set button does. The set button sets one of four modes. You can see them outlined at the bottom of this text: quiet mode, medium mode, normal mode, loud mode. Um, when you press the set button, it goes to the next mode and it will beep the number of times that corresponds to the mode you're in. So when you first open the box, the default setting should be mode 3, which is what they call normal mode. As soon as you press the set button, it will go to mode 4 and you will hear 4 beeps. Okay, that's loud mode, and you can see what that does. Loud mode gives you a single beep when you open the door every 10 seconds, and then after a minute, you get a loud siren sound for 2 seconds. And then after 2 minutes, you get a loud siren sound for 4 seconds. And then after 3 minutes, you get that sound for 30 seconds. And it repeats the sound every 4 minutes after that for 20 seconds. So that's the loudest mode of this device. When you press the set button again, you will hear one beep. That means it's in mode 1 or quiet mode. Um, in this mode, it doesn't beep at all when you open the door. After a minute, you hear a fairly soft dee-da kind of a sound, and that repeats after 2 minutes and then again after 3 minutes. So it's pretty minimal sound in mode 1. In the medium mode, it's doing basically the same thing you did in mode 1, but it's a little bit louder. So um, if you were having a conversation somewhere close to it, you probably could hear mode 2, whereas mode 1, you might miss it if there was any noise in the room. Mode 3 is the normal mode, which seems pretty useful. I think this mode is probably the one that most people will use, and that's why they have it set as the default. In this mode, you hear a beep as soon as you open the door. It's not a very loud beep, but a soft beep. And then every 10 seconds for the first minute, you will hear that beep again, a little beep every 10 seconds. After 1 minute, you get a fairly loud dee-dah sound. And this repeats after 2 minutes and then again after 3 minutes. And if the door is still open at 4 minutes, you get a much louder sound. And this one repeats every 4 minutes. Okay, so pretty useful. And it gives you some warnings fairly early on when you open the door, and it gets louder and more annoying if you leave it open longer. Okay, so this is probably the one that I will continue to use. I think this device is useful. I was very annoyed with our refrigerator being left open quite frequently, and I think this is going to solve our problem. Um, and hopefully this is helpful to someone else. Thanks.